Think about every team that has ever cracked under pressure at a World Cup. The late collapse. The penalty miss nobody saw coming. The moment the occasion just swallowed them whole. Now think about France. When does that ever happen to them? France are in the 2026 World Cup semifinals, having beaten Morocco 2-0. And here's what's wild about that. In Qatar 2022, they arrived with a squad depleted by injuries, reached the final anyway, drew 3-3 with Argentina, and only lost on penalties in what many consider the greatest World Cup final ever played. That run made France the first team since Brazil between 1998 and 2002 to reach back-to-back finals. And now they're right back here again, one win away from a third consecutive final. So the question everyone should be asking isn't whether France are good. The question is, why don't they ever panic? Because that's the real thing. Every team at this level has talent, but there's something different about France, something that goes way deeper than the squad list. And I want to break it down properly, because the last reason, the deepest one, is the one almost nobody talks about. And it's honestly the most important thing about this team. Let's start with what makes France immediately dangerous in any knockout game. And it has nothing to do with Mbappe. It's the killer instinct. The ruthless, cold efficiency of a team that genuinely does not need to dominate you to beat you. France are completely comfortable sitting back, letting you have the ball, letting you feel like you're in control, and then, the one time you leave a gap, it's in the net. That's not a coincidence. That's a psychological posture. It's the patience of a team that trusts its own quality so completely that it never feels the need to chase the game or force something that isn't there. They just wait. And when the moment comes, they don't hesitate for a second. Bradley Barcola described it as simply playing like if we were playing with our friends in our neighborhoods. And every kid in Paris, Marseille, Lyon, or Toulouse can relate to that. This French attack plays like street football, with flair, technique, movement, relentlessly. There's no weight of the occasion in how they move. There's no tension in their decision-making. And that loose, natural confidence is exactly what makes them so lethal in moments when other teams tighten up and start playing small. Mbappe reached 101 goal contributions for the national team in this tournament, and he's already matched his 8-goal tally from 2022, becoming the first player in history to score that many goals in 2 separate World Cups. But even that stat doesn't fully explain it, because France keep finding ways to win even in the games where Mbappe isn't the one doing it. A lot of that is down to the midfield pair of Rabiot and Kone, who have adapted into more defensive roles than what we see from them at club level, and their selflessness is what allows Deschamps to play with such an attacking front four. Everyone on this team accepts their role without ego. That's not easy. That's actually really rare. So the killer instinct is real. But here's what makes it possible. And this is where it gets interesting. France never feel fragile. And the reason they never feel fragile is the depth of their squad. When your bench is full of players who would walk into the starting 11 of almost any other nation at this tournament, no injury, no suspension, no off day can break you. Deschamps has an all-star squad, including Dembélé, Mbappe, Olise, and PSG prodigy Désiré Doué. And those are just the starters. The players coming off the bench for France are starters for other semifinalists. When a team knows there's always another answer, always another weapon, they never play scared. And a team that never plays scared makes better decisions, takes better touches, and stays sharper in exactly the moments when everyone else starts to freeze. France have won every single match at this World Cup. They opened with a 3-1 win over Senegal, a 3-0 win against Iraq, and a 4-1 victory over Norway in the group stage. That kind of momentum doesn't just build confidence, it builds certainty. And certainty is a completely different thing. Which brings us to the winning memory bank. This is the one I promised you, and it's the deepest reason of all. France have been in the biggest moments of this sport so many times so recently that when a match tightens in the 85th minute and the pressure is at its absolute peak, their brains don't spiral. They default. They go back to a library of lived experience that says, we've been here, we've done this, we know what happens next. France have reached 4 World Cup finals. in 1998, 2006, 2018, and 2022, winning twice and losing twice on penalties. Even the losses were close. Even the losses came in finals. That's not a team that chokes. That's a team that consistently shows up when the stakes are highest, and their players know it. Success breeds the expectation of success, and that expectation becomes self-fulfilling in the same way failure does for teams that are cursed, except it works entirely in France's favor. Belief isn't a slogan for them. It's built on receipts. Deschamps could go down in history by becoming the first ever coach to reach 3 back-to-back World Cup finals. And here's the thing. The players around him carry that same identity. France's self-image as a team isn't tied to how they win. They don't care if it's beautiful. They don't care if they had 30% possession. They care about the result, and they're completely detached from everything else. That pragmatism, that freedom from ego, is what lets them stay ice cold when the moment is at its most intense. Other teams play for the crowd, for the narrative, for the style points. France play to win. And when a semifinal gets tight and the pressure reaches its peak, that detachment is the single most dangerous thing about them. So to actually summarize what's going on here, the killer instinct is what you see on the surface. The clinical finishing, the patience, the one chance turned into one goal. The depth is what protects it, because no single moment can ever destabilize them. And the winning memory bank is what ties it all together, because when the game is on the line, France's default setting is calm certainty, not panic. That's not an accident. That's the result of years of doing this, at this level and coming out the other side. If you've got a take on whether France go all the way or who can actually stop them in that semifinal, drop it in the comments. Genuinely curious what you think, because this is one of those tournaments where the argument is real. And if you want to understand the other side of this, what it looks like when a team with equal talent completely falls apart under pressure, there's a video right there that breaks that down in full. Worth watching back to back with this one.